Connor Bedard, number 98, Chicago Blackhawks.
Connor, we're going to start the interview by turning the recreation over to Elliotte Friedman, who's going to do some hard-hitting journalism here with you. Elliotte, the floor is yours.
So I heard this story when I was flying down to Vegas. A gentleman named Rob on the plane told me the story, and I wanted to ask you and see if it was true. He said that you were a young player. You can tell me how old you were if this is true. And you were going to a hockey tournament, and when you got there, you realized you'd forgotten your elbow pads and your shin pads. So one of the fathers of the player on your team, he happened to have his hockey bag there, and he gave you his elbow pads and shin pads, and you went out and scored 4 goals in the first period on them. Is this story true?
Some of it. The 4 goals is definitely an exaggeration, but I was 12 years old, and we were playing. It was like playoffs of our league, so it's like do or die. And I got to the rink, and I couldn't find. It was actually my jock and my elbow pads, and so he had his bag. He had a senior men's game or whatever, or whatnot. So I borrowed his, and then I was getting dressed, throwing all my stuff on, and I was putting my pants on, and there was my jock and my elbow pads. So
so you were safe from wearing this other guy's jock.
Yeah, so I got to take his jock off and put my own on. But pretty funny story. And I was pretty young, so it was good.
Well, and the other thing is, if you had missed your equipment, if you had forgotten your equipment, there was a team penalty or something like that,
so
right?
The rule was if you forgot equipment, you had to miss 10 minutes of the game. So like the first period. So obviously do or die game. I'm like, no way, I gotta miss 10 minutes of this. Like, this sucks. And then
that was mandatory, even like with all the
mandatory
even for you,
for everyone. Yeah, it was team rule, and so I was upset, of course. And then when I found the gear, because I already had told my coach and everything. Then I ran to him. I'm like, I don't have to miss 10 minutes of the game. I found my gear, so it's funny.
It's funny too, because this minor hockey, youth hockey. Sometimes when there's a hard and fast rule like that, if it's a do or die game, you put it to a vote, and all the players say, the vote is, should we waive the rule? For in your case, Connor Bedard, normally all the kids will say waive the rule. Let's keep it. So nothing like that.
No, I think it was good. I mean, that was the rule, and stuck for everyone, and it was good. You just shouldn't forget your equipment, and I didn't. I thought I did, but I was fortunate.
I can absolutely see you from everything I've seen about you so far is that you would not like anyone to bend rules for you. That would bother you if that happened. Yes.
Yeah, I think we actually had one of those team votes sort of thing. We had a similar rule in midget, and it was like late to breakfast. Someone missed their alarm. Some unlucky happened, and we're going to the game, and our coach, it was COVID and it was playoffs. So that game was the last game of the year. It got canceled. And then, so our coach kind of knew that, and he's like, team vote, like if these guys, you want these guys to play, and then ended up getting canceled in warm up. So I've been on both sides. That was obviously for a different reason, but I think if it's a rule, then everyone should be, under that rule.
Do you have any idea? I'm sure you've talked to a lot of people about it, and you've skated with NHLers, but do you have any idea what this is going to be like for you?
I mean, no, how could you really? Yeah, it's a different level. And, I think you always go up and you go to junior and there's an adjustment period, you go wherever. But I mean, this is the best players in the world. And, everyone always asks me, like, what's your goals? What do you expect? And I'm like, I got no clue, because how could you really? You practice with them, and they're great. You feel good, whatever, but a game's always different. So for me, it's just kind of, of course I want to do well. Of course I want to win. And that's kind of my mindset. But I think it's just kind of, there's going to be a bit of a feeling out for sure.
You've been around a lot of great players this offseason. The BioSteel camp, you skated with some great players. I know you did something with Sidney Crosby on the ice, with Colby today. I'm curious, what's the best piece of advice you've received from somebody in the NHL already?
I don't know. I think the same message from everyone is just enjoy it. I think, you can get so wrapped up. There's a lot of stuff. You're always busy with, media example or, that sort of stuff. But, I'm living out a dream right now. Obviously I haven't played yet, but just getting to go to Chicago, go to camp and all that. So I think just kind of take it in and really enjoy it, because, we're some of the luckiest people in the world. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing.
How was competing against Sidney Crosby with Colby today?
Yeah, it was
I don't
good.
want to spoil it. How was it?
Good. I think people would be surprised. Not surprised, but maybe the competition he thought I'd win, he won, and the one I thought he'd win, I won. So it's funny.
Can't wait to see it.
You know, one of the things, and we saw this through your junior career with Regina, specifically in the final season. One of the things that people always talk about with you is, and we saw this with the rules conversation as well, is loyalty. And there's a way that things are done and you're not going to budge from them. Like this year, there was a big hue and cry, you know, Bedard to Kamloops, guaranteed Memorial Cup, got to get him there. And he said, no, this is my team and I'm on this ship.
Yeah.
Period. What does loyalty mean to you in sports? I mean, I know it's a tricky conversation because it's a business, but what is loyalty to you?
Yeah, it's big. And I mean, whatever team I'm on, I expect to win. And I'm not saying because I'm on it or anything. It's just like the mentality of the game. And with Regina, of course, we had a good team. Of course, it fell short and everything. But, you know, I really liked what we had and kind of, you know, I had so many of my good friends on that team. And, you know, I think just kind of you're there all year and you're working towards the same goal. And I think that's something that's so much fun. And for me, I wanted to carry that out and continue with them and try to win. And that's what we did. Of course, like I said, we came short, but, you know, just sticking with your guys and that is huge.
This is going to come a bit out of left field, but I listened to that. I remember your interview with Ryan Rishaug after the gold medal game where you talked about team. You're a very grounded person. I'm kind of wondering, what are Connor Bedard's rules for life? Like, what are your guidelines that these are absolutely the way I'm going to do things and I'm not bending my principles for them at all?
Yeah, I think kind of big is just, you know, be good to everyone, kind of, you know, honesty. I think that's something my parents, you know, were pretty big on is, you know, in life. And, you know, I think you can get so carried up in your own life and whatever and kind of, you know, but you got to take the time for everyone. And that's something big. And for me off the ice, but of course with everything I do, I try to put in my all. And, you know, I don't think a job's worth doing if you're not going to, you know, go out and try to do your best. So a few things that I kind of live by, I guess.
You're going to be playing on a team with Taylor Hall. You're going to be playing on a team with Corey Perry. You know, this is a Chicago Blackhawks team that's, you know, we think of, you mentioned Sidney Crosby and what Pittsburgh did when he was drafted first overall and brought in a lot of veterans to help insulate and surround him with. What are the conversations with Hall or Perry been like? Have you had those types of conversations? And sort of what are you expecting with a couple of these veterans?
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky to be able to talk to those guys and stuff. Hall sent me a text and Perry and Nick's been unreal. Foligno, I don't know if you guys know him at all, but
fantastic.
One of the best people I've ever met.
Yeah.
So they've been great. Perry's been there a bit this past weekend and week that I was in Chicago. And Nick, I was able to go to his house and meet his family, have some dinner and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I'm really lucky. Like I said, these people seem unreal and so welcoming of myself. And, you know, I felt really comfortable going into the room, you know, this past week kind of without really knowing people. So, you know, that shows a lot about the characters.
Have you thought about that opening face-off? Pittsburgh, Chicago, 98, 87.
Yeah, like a little, but not a crazy amount. I mean, I'm trying to just go into camp and focus on that. And, you know, of course, there's preseason. We got our rookie games coming up and everything. But, I mean, it's hard not to dream of and think about here and there, but try to just kind of focus on the present.
Have you figured out who you're going to live with this year?
I've got to ask that question a lot. I've always kind of not answered it, I guess. So
well, you know, you could always change now.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
Oh, do you know, and you just prefer not to say, or?
Well, I mean, I kind of know, but I don't know why. I just haven't answered yet.
Okay, fair enough. I can tell that all of my tactics here are not going to work on you, so I'm going to give up pretty early.
Elliotte always rolls his eyes, but I love asking equipment questions of players. Is there something that you've always worn? Like I look at, you know, players that play like their entire careers, you know, with the same shoulder pads or the same shoulder pads that they played when they were playing midget hockey. Is there something that you're particularly attached to piece of your equipment that, until this thing disintegrates, I'm gonna wear it?
I mean, I don't really love new gear except for sticks. I think you kind of break something. Like gloves example, I use the same gloves for the past like 2 years in Regina, and every practice, every game. Same pair, and
just had to repalm them.
Yeah, my trainer there repalmed them here and there, but I don't know, just kind of new stuff I find harder to get used to. I'm getting better with skates. I think you kind of need new skates here and there, but
how often do you change them?
Skates?
Yeah.
And last season I only used like 3-ish, but like I used to like really not like getting new ones, but now they feel all right away. So I'd probably switch them a little more, but I don't know. I have some old gear that is pretty ugly. So
I'm sure it's so ugly it's beautiful. Last one for me, Connor. Like, away from the rink, what do you do to relax?
I don't know. Really, I like to like be with friends and family. I like to like go play other sports with some buddies, or go. Vancouver's great to like be in the nature or whatnot, and go on a hike or go. I got a canyon right by my house. It's pretty sweet. So stuff like that, just kind of being with your buddies and your family.
Have you done the gross grind?
Yeah.
What's your time?
My best ever was 39. I did it three times this summer, and I got 42, 41 and a half, and then 41. So a little slow progression, but it's hard. It gets harder every time, I feel like.
Last one for me. I'm curious because I've got a couple of kids and they're huge fans.
Yeah.
One's 13 and one's 11. And they're really excited that of all the people that Elliotte and I are talking to, they're like, are you going to talk to Connor Bedard?
Yeah.
What was it like, or was there like a particular moment where you realized you would become a hockey celebrity for younger kids? Like I can recall a very specific moment in time where everybody, all of a sudden, all these kids were doing the Connor Bedard tape job.
Yeah.
Like, was there a moment where you're like, wow, this is kind of weird?
Yeah, I think for me, like, it was a bit when I was 15, 16 in Regina, of course, but that World Juniors in Halifax, I think, really changed, everything. And after that, it was a lot more attention, and, kids were fired up seeing me or something. And, I go home and I'm like, why are these kids excited to meet me? Whatever. I'm just like normal guy. But no, that's pretty sweet that you can have an impact on these people. And, I think getting to meet some kids and talk to them, and maybe they have questions for me and stuff, I find that pretty cool. So just knowing that you can impact people's lives just by being you and living your own life, and that makes you want to do things that much better.
What's the funniest question you've ever been asked by a kid?
I don't know. I mean, I've had some interesting ones, but nothing I can remember too well that was too great.
Okay.
This has been great. Best of luck this season.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.